Hello and welcome to Single Seniors Over 60 with Carolyn. I'm Carolyn. I'm talking to you about what we do with the rest of our lives when we are 60 or over and looking at 20, 30, or 40 more years of a future and a productive future. Longevity has never been higher than it is right now in the United States of America. And we are looking for a productive and fulfilling future. Hopefully where we can be autonomous, independent, care for ourselves, and manage our own lives until the day they haul us away to the graveyard or to the nursing home. That being said, I am taking texts and emails from people who have specific questions dealing with themselves, their partners, or their parents over 60 who are going through a lifestyle change, which most of us do once we retire. We're single, so therefore we cover 72 or so percent of the population over 60. Most of us are single. Some of us want partners. Some of us think we want partners, and maybe through exploring yourself on this channel, you will find either that you really do or you really don't, and you can move on from there. But I'm taking a question today from a 32-year-old who has concerns about her 65-year-old mother who has fallen in love. And here's what her daughter says. She says, Carolyn, I am a 32-year-old texting you about my 65-year-old mother. My mother was a single parent and raised myself and my 3 younger sisters. She did a wonderful job. And until about 3 years ago, she devoted herself to all of her children, her in-laws, and her grandchildren. 3 years ago, her own mother died, and then she immediately became involved with a crazy man who believes he is a spy with many foreign enemies. Now my mother, always a logical, hardworking woman, believes him. They seclude themselves behind locked doors, these doors which were once open to children, grandchildren, laughter, advice, friends, and family. When I try and talk to her, she says the information she has about her boyfriend is classified. She cannot discuss it with me, and I will just have to trust her. She's going through all of her savings, and there will not be enough for the grandchildren's college, as she always promised. What am I to do to save her from her crazy choices and from spending all of her hard-earned, saved money? Well, it's not the first time I've heard this question from adult children of parents over 60 who, a lot of people over 60, if they have become widowed, or in your mother's case, maybe was a caregiver to her mother and her mother passed away. A lot of these people do a great deal of change. Generally, it's because while their spouse was alive, they had their responsibilities, their routines, their duties. Everyone was happy with that. They were content. They didn't need to look at changing directions or making any new decisions. Same could have been true with your mom, who looked after her mother. Her mother must have been up in her 80s, and I'm sure this was a full-time job for your mother. Sounds like she had a full-time job for a long time. She was a single parent. She raised, 4 children. She was really close to her mother, looked after her mother, the grandchildren. My question to you is, and I have no way of knowing this, did she have much of a life? Did she have much of a personal life outside the responsibilities and the love and the affection and the duties, which I'm sure she loved, to her children, her mother, maybe her father too at some point, and her grandchildren and her friends? I don't know. Only you can answer that question. But my belief is probably she had a very, very full life up until that time. After her mother died, I guess she decided maybe she wanted to do something different. So according to you, she fell in love. And according to you, she fell in love with a crazy man. And also it sounds from what you're saying, maybe a man that she is taking care of. You have to remember your mother was a caregiver for many, many years to her own children, maybe the grandchildren, and to her own mother. So it sounds like she's chosen someone who also needs her care. It also sounds like she's living with her boyfriend in her house, because you do say her doors were once open to everybody. Now they lock those doors and they live in secret because her boyfriend, he says, was a spy with many, many foreign enemies. And people may be out to get him. They're closing the doors, they're locking the doors. The mother believes this, your mother believes this, she believes the whole thing. She says you just wouldn't understand, and she can't discuss it with you because all of this spy information is confidential. Am I on so far? Did I interpret your text right? Well, you know, there's a lot of possibilities here, but one of the possibilities is maybe it's true. It's a small chance, but you know, you never know. The greater chance is that maybe this is a delusion that your mother's boyfriend has, and maybe she's adopted this delusion. Maybe out of emptiness after her mother died, maybe the kids and the grandkids are all growing up and they don't need her in that capacity anymore. I don't know, but it sounds like maybe the boyfriend has a delusion that your mother has adopted. That would be my best guess. If that's a good guess, may I speak with you about folie à deux? It's French. It means folly for two people. It's spelled F-O-L-I-E, A, new word, D-E-U-X. Look it up. That is a delusion that develops in a person who is involved with a partner. And this partner or other person is sometimes called the inducer or the primary case, who already has a psychotic disorder with prominent delusions. So if I'm anywhere near, the boyfriend maybe has had this delusion for a long time. He believes it. It's his delusion. He lives in it. And he's talked to your mother about it. She is ripe for a new relationship, a new calling, a new goal, a new responsibility. She's ripe for this. Her mother's died, her kids are grown, maybe the grandkids are getting older. I bet they are. So she buys right into this delusion, and you call that a folie à deux. They grow to have a shared psychotic disorder with symptoms such as a set of persecutory delusions. Therefore, they lock the door, they keep the lights down, they believe this, and they bond with each other in such a way that it's you and me against the world, perhaps. Now, that being said, I'm not answering your question. You asked me, what can I do about this? Well, I don't know. Maybe you can't do anything about it. Maybe you can. Are these people living a lifestyle which is endangering themselves? Or does it endanger others? Are they living in unsanitary, squalor-type conditions? You don't mention that. You just say they're very secretive and they're bonding really closely together on this shared delusion. But you don't mention that either one of them is at a health risk, or that they're not taking their medication or not seeing their doctors. Seems like what you're worried about is she's acting crazy, she's not like she used to be, and she's spending all of her money. I have another question for you, I guess. Whose money was it? Was it her money? Did she make this money and put it away and save it and make promises with it? Well, if it's her money and she put it away and she made promises, maybe she changed her mind. And if she changed her mind, you know what you can do about that, don't you? Nothing. If she is acting in a peculiar fashion and her delusions are not hurting anyone except herself, I can understand your mourning and your pain, because in a way you've lost who Mom always was. But in another way, I'm not sure you can do anything about it. She doesn't seem to have any symptoms that are interfering with her life or your life. She seems to be spending her own money according to you in the way she chooses. And I know that you don't want to hear this from me. You can always contact Adult Protective Services, or you can speak to a mental health professional in your area, or even your mother's doctor. You can do those things to make sure that you're covering all of the bases for your mother's safety. You can also endeavor to talk to your mother about something other than this delusional. Invite her out to lunch. Don't be judging her about what she's doing when you want to open up and talk to her and find out how she's doing. Face her where she is. Don't try to bring her where you are. Meet her wherever she wants to meet you, and I mean psychologically speaking, and then talk to her there. When you've done that, please contact me and let me know how that's going for you. All of you, please join me on my YouTube channel, Singles Over 60, Finding a Partner, or maybe deciding that you don't want a partner, or looking at your parents' issues or friends' issues. I would love to hear from you. Join me tomorrow. We'll be back. Goodbye.